9/11 happened, and it was gruesome, it was violent, unexpected, scary, frightful. But people were picking each other up and carrying each other out. It was so touching. I was right here at my office at Trinity's, 2 blocks down the street. And when the first plane hit, a colleague and I ran up the street to see what we could do to help out. But as we got just about where Liberty Street is, the second plane hit, and we knew at that point it was no accident. But the way that people responded is amazing, in acts of courage and compassion, goodwill and love. I am Lyndon Harris. I'm on staff at Trinity Church, St. Paul's Chapel. I'll never forget walking down Broadway on the 12th of September from my apartment in Greenwich Village, a mile and a half away. All the way down, it was my complete assumption that St. Paul's had been demolished. There was no way St. Paul's could have been spared. And then I had hoped to come down and rescue the seal of the United States. We have one of the earliest paintings of the Great Seal hanging over Washington's pew here in St. Paul's Chapel. And I thought, well, if it's demolished, maybe the painting was spared. And as I got about 3 blocks away, right around City Hall, I looked to see that the spire was still standing. I couldn't believe it. And I'll never forget walking into this place for the first time that morning. It was covered in soot. And that's mostly all the damage we had. We were left standing, not because we're holier than anybody who died across the street, but if there is a reason, maybe it's because we have a big job to do. We started out cooking hamburgers and hot dogs on Broadway. We were grilling around the clock, doing about 2,000 meals a day, and that's indicative of what it was like down here in the early days. The juxtaposition between what happens in the pit and what happens in St. Paul's is extraordinary. They work long, hard hours in the pit, doing gruesome work, doing work which challenges them in every imaginable way. And then they come into St. Paul's Chapel and we bathe them in love. And I think that helps get them through. That's what I've heard from so many of the men and women who've come our way.
I'm Barbara Marion Horn. This chapel nourishes the whole person, body, mind, and soul. So, you hungry? We've got food. 3 squares a day and then some. Is your hip out of place? We've got the chiropractor to help you with some adjustments. Are you just aching and you just need to de-stress and maybe get rid of a muscle spasm? We have a team of volunteers, massage therapists, who will do that for you. And we have these musicians who come. They're called the music givers, and they fill the air with heavenly sounds. We care for each other, and we care about each other. And they tell us we're spoiling them, and you say, good, that's the point. We're here to spoil you. What do you need? What do you want? We're a full-service chapel. Something very particular, very unique, very special has happened here. There was a pile of rubble over there, and we tried to build a pile of healing and love and care over here to far exceed what happened over there. So when the workers keep on saying, you know, if you all weren't here, there's no way we could be over there.
My name is Catherine Martin Avery. We opened the chapel up to whoever needed it, and it didn't matter what race, religion, background, where you were in the department. it just didn't matter. All that mattered was that you were there. And so you'd have these moments, and they would normally happen over a cup of coffee where you would just start talking. But it would always happen very casually. It wasn't forced. It couldn't have been forced. It was just, how are you doing today? Can I get you anything?
Diane Rayners. The sense of family and community here is huge. It's police officers knowing sanitation workers, knowing construction workers, and I know these people. I know their kids' names, I know what their kids do, I know how long they've been down here. St. Paul's is nothing if not a testament to the power that people can make a difference. We're an example of people doing something, everyone. From every kid who writes a letter on the wall to every volunteer who's walked through that door. I've watched people do extraordinary things. We had one letter that was up at the beginning that said, "You ran in when we all ran out, and for that we are forever grateful." And it was one sign from Ladder 20. It was a very, very simple sign. And from that, the chapel ended up looking like this because of all the cards and letters.